Mark,
Right. Yep.
yeah, can you make me a co-host?
Do I what?
Can you make me co-host?
Oh, yeah. Okay. Sorry. Um, out of the swing of it, there.
It almost went smoothly, almost.
All right. Look, I'll see you in a bit in an hour. Uh, hmm. So let us begin with a little bit of housekeeping. All our courses start in the next few days. And course number 4, or group number 4, will begin later today, from the very beginning. Now, today is an auspicious day, and you most likely will not know why. For some time, there has been a change and an escalation. And that escalation starts to come to fruition from today. It is slow in your world, gradual, but a change in occurrence is taking place. This in part involves the energy that is around certain people. And over time, those people may or may not be able to associate this change to today's date. Now, the date I refer to is the date in the mediums part of the world, not in many that are listening. Today is July 31st. And that connects back into ancestry. In another group, that date becomes very prevalent as we have been working through a particular problem to be solved, a riddle. And the riddle of a consistent energy that flows through time, being attached to various personalities and identities that you would know or not know. And the riddle that was given to them by myself pointed them in a direction of the answer to the riddle and this flow of consistent energy. And today's date, the 31st of July, is a saint's day. And today is the day you hear my voice as we recommence our talks, groups, classes, and anything else that you might undertake this week. So those who are capable, you may wish to search on your internet for a saint day on the 31st of July. So today we undertake a series of talks, and that is relationships, in particular spiritual and non-spiritual relationships. And we will come to those in a minute. We will also have the healing list in a minute. And should you require any other names to be added to either this week, in which case you must let Brandon know now, or in future weeks, you must contact either Brandon or the medium. We will add the names to them. Now, as always, or commonly, I would like to begin with a story. Now, there was a woman. It matters not whether it was woman or man. It's applicable to both. But there was a woman of advancing age, having lived a very active and full life. And she kept the photographs of her family as they grew up from newborn through their lives to marriage and their children. She kept photographs of her husband, long since gone. There was photographs of important occasions and holidays which were taken. She kept all the first drawings of her children. She kept their first clothes and their christening gown. She had a lock of hair of each child and their loss of their first tooth. She kept their school reports from when they first began to their graduation. She kept records of their medical needs and procedures. She kept x-rays and blood results, visits to the doctor, and any other medical necessity. She kept old x-rays. She also kept their clothes at certain times. She had her first wedding ring to a husband which has now been lost. Her wedding dress she still kept. A copy of the vows that were done and the guest list. She kept the flowers her husband wore on the day, but hers were given away. She kept records of all the tickets of all the big events that you went to see. The tickets to see music, plays, holiday destinations, and even mementos of the journey she took. She kept souvenirs and toys from the different locations she went to. She kept her records of her qualifications, thinking one day they may become useful. She had board games for when the children and grandchildren arrived. She had bats and balls and any other play game that they may require. She kept tools which may become useful one day and ones which are useful. She gets tools to work in the garden, which are no longer required as they belonged to a previous garden in a previous house. She has the collection of stamps and coins. She has far too many wine glasses for the visitors which no longer come, and a collection of teacups and saucers and plates which are no longer used. There are ornaments in memory and ornaments because she liked them throughout the house. There was a lead and a collar from old pets which have been and gone. Her taxation report she has kept for 20 years. Every receipt, every journal and journal entry recorded just in case. She's kept her bills so she can compare one year to the next, but never did. She has a shelf full of books that she has read that she will reread, but never has. There are playing cards in all types for events which are to occur. Her medicine cabinet is full of medicine, and more than one packet of each. There are far too many towels that are required, and more sheets than beds. There are blankets to go over each bed 3 times. Pillows which some are hard and some are soft. There are a collection of her certain coins and notes from different countries and the country she lives in, kept to one side. There is jewelry that she was given by her family and her friend, all in a box, in a safe, and have not been viewed for many years. In fact, the safe contains documents that she thinks will be useful, relating to her health, her insurances, and what happens when she passes. There are clothes which she has saved for best and never worn. Clothes which is well worn, but she cannot get rid of. Her refrigerator is full of food that would take her a month to eat, and yet she shops each day. Her drawer of useful kitchen gadgets is full of those which perhaps we use once or twice. There is a drawer of cloth and tea towel where one would do the job. There are liquids and cleaning fluids of many persuasions and more than one bottle of each. There is a range of cleaning cloth, each appropriate for a certain time. There is a shoebox full of sewing and wool, yet her fingers and eyesight can no longer undertake. There are patterns yet to be looked at. The house is rather full of yesterday's events. And one day, she passes and leaves all the material possessions behind. And her children and grandchildren look at the items and say, this is my mother or grandma. This is her life. And yet everything that they refer to her by is memory of the events. Her whole life is summed up by the possessions that she carried in boxes, in cupboards, in drawers. And on her passing, she leaves it all behind. Throughout her life, what was important and never to be got rid of, now gets taken to the disposal or shared in the family. It is gone. All of the possessions are weighing heavy on the purse. The worry, the fears, the doubts, the feeling of inadequacy, the feeling of lack. Yet the mother's life was summed up by the papers and memorabilia that were kept. And within a short time, it's gone or disposed of, or goes to sit in a box in another's house. Each thing, each item, each possession, and just in case I need it item weighs around your neck. You carry it like a mill pond, like a, forgive me, like a stove, and you drag it along from one part of your life to another. And in many people's cases, all of those possessions and items, which were very dear to the lady, inhibited her life of how she would live. If you look at your house, how much do you possess that you have claimed happiness in? Those extra clothes that you may not wear, those tools which you may not use, the books that you will not reread. Now, there are some, of course, who like to keep very little. But as you pass to our side, you will also leave behind your money, the connection between you and your child, the work that you have done, the memories you have created, the love that you have given, the support you have given to those in times of their grief and in times of their trouble. Those that you have helped and will help. That memory will linger longer than any photograph, any school report of your child, and will be of influence and assistance to the recipient beyond what you ever think. So you say you look into the future, or you plan to be present today. Yet you carry with you and live from your yesterday. And you think I am referring solely to the material. Yet when you sit with a friend, with a loved one, with an acquaintance, you sit with the memory of what they did before. You sit with the pain that they gave you, or the joy that you have felt in their presence once before. At times you look at friends or acquaintances for how useful they are. And you refuse to go back to a circumstance because you were hurt from them in a previous circumstance. You carry within your memory the times when things went well or did not go well with your friend in front of you. And this hinders or taints the relationship with your friend or your partner or your family member. And this means that you may or may not go ahead and do something that is on offer to be done. And you restrict or hold back the full gift of your presence, your attention, your love, and the requirements that that person has in that moment. Your physical life and your mental life can be full of clutter. And it is your memory that you relive. And the reliving creates the circumstance of the day. And yet you can live and respond. Respond with joy or love or presence. Respond with either just your ears or your tongue. Yet at times you hold back. The presence with your friend, which is so rewarding, is hindered by the memory of times gone by. But there is a way. There is a way where you can, no matter the hurt that has gone on before, that you can be true and present and honor yourself and them whenever you meet. You can sit together, be together, spend a lifetime together. When you, as one part of this equation, can bring light into your heart. You may call it love if you prefer, peace, presence. And all evil will vanish from the life of those which keep the sun in their heart. So as you sit with your friend, your loved one, is there love in your heart now? Or is there memory? Memory takes you to yesterday, and love in your heart is only available to now. So when you have that difficult child, the friend that has let you down time and time again, know that they do not have the sun in their heart, and give them a little of yours. So together there is more light, rather than meeting their darkness with your dark. Your relationship with them means that the one who is most conscious must act correctly the soonest. Be an example of light rather than a deliverer of dark. And you will live in the present rather than the past. Now, I believe we have some names on our healing list. May I have those now, please?
Manny, Rose, Barbara, Ogden, Monty, Yvonne, Maddie, Chantel, Les and Bev, Pete and Chelsea, Howard, Michelle Clark, Teresa, Daniel and Chantel, Tracy, Eric, Stephen and Matthew, Marianne and Jody, Jill and Katie and Mitch. Thank you.
Yeah, I've got to have a bit of turn, ain't I? I've got to be talking about relationships a little bit. What they're like, where they go wrong, where the truth lies, and all that stuff. I like to get me words in, as you know, and I like to talk a little bit when I can, and I don't quite get the same amount as I used to. So I've got a few words to make up for that haven't been expressed for a while now. But I'll try to keep on the point as best I can. But you know what happens. I tend to rumble off on one direction or another. Anyway, look, spiritual relationships, well, let's just call them relationships for now. The the ideal, of course, is two people. And I suppose really, when you think about it, a relationship ain't always about two people, is it? You can have a relationship with your dog, can't you? Or your car, or some kind of sports team, or maybe you're in a relationship with your music or with your work. You know what I mean? I'm in a relationship. I spend more time with my work than I do with my soulmate, which kind of don't make sense. But anyway, that's what it is. So a relationship can be with human and non-human, shall we say, but I'm going to be referring mainly to the people relationships, but it ain't really that much different. Anyway, the ideal bit is when two people get together on a journey and they undertake a relationship for a spiritual reason. So two of them are honouring their growth spiritually. So they might both decide that what we'll do today, what we're going to do for the rest of our lives is help each other to evolve spiritually and to understand and to wake up a little bit, be a bit more conscious and a little bit less human, if you want. And let's not get trapped in the world and start to step outside or beyond or above it. And that's why, too, when they come together, they honour this path and this progress that they're both making. You see, this relationship or this type is when two realise that there is something else and they point their nose in the same direction and they walk towards that. But within 5 minutes, one likes one thing one way and the other likes it the other way, the opposite way, and there seems to be some difficulty that one likes it, let's say, on the right, and the other one likes it on the left, if you know what I mean. And when the relationship's beginning, it becomes a bit of a clash and a conflict even, and maybe even gets a bit more serious, But the truth is, then, you must honour the truth in the other person. Or if you're in a relationship with your work, you must honor the needs of your work or your music or even your football team, if you like. Anyway, you must honor where they are and recognize that there is a difference first. Let us say one person likes indoor activity and one person likes outdoor activity. One person likes books and one person likes nice dinners, for example. Now, when it first starts, you think, well, that's not right. That's wrong. Well, it should be this way, not that way. But the truth is there's two different people and two different needs, or society need and personal need, if you want. Honor the difference in the other person. Say, it's okay to be different. It's okay that you like it this way and I like it that way. Honor the difference. And the difference then will help each of you. So if one likes indoor activity and one outdoor, of course, there's times where you must do one or the other to satisfy the other, as well as satisfying the self. In this way, you don't see difference as a problem, you see difference as an adventure. Or maybe if we go outside, we might discover something new. But at the same time, you would like them to also honour your difference. You see, in any dedicated relationship, whether it's between humans or between a human and a non-human, there is always a third party. And the third party is the conscious awareness. Spirit, if you want to call it that, if that makes you feel a bit better. There's always spirit in every relationship, every connection. It is unavoidable. Even if you're in the deepest, darkest place, there's also always a bit of spookiness around. And that connection is the bit where the love sits. You see, you think the love sits within you and within them, but the love actually sits between the two of you. It is a love that pulls the two together. Love between you and your music and you and your partner. The love is in the middle. And it's the love in the middle that must be honoured. What's important, what is important is there is love of what you're doing or who you are with. But at times your egoic needs will jump in. I can't be bothered today. I don't want to follow your desires. I just want to sit here. Or it becomes one of conflict. We'll talk more about conflict sometime for a time, but this can easily arise either between you and your partner or within your own mind. It must be the honouring of what's important between the two of you. Even if you disagree, the love is still more important. Even if you have to do something which you don't like, the love is more important. And it don't matter whether you're in a same-sex relationship or an opposite one, or any other kind of combination. The love is the important thing. And okay, you're probably thinking to yourself, well, that's kind of a bit obvious, isn't it? But have a look at your day today, or what you're going to face the rest of your day or your tomorrow. Is the love the most important thing or not? Are you honouring that? Or are you honouring the the difficulties, the differences, the opposites, the needs of body rather than the love. When there's true bonding and true connection, then the love pulls everything together. And it doesn't need to be with just one and another. It can be with group, can't it? Like a family or a community. Hence, it's important that a team event also honours the love and connection and the bond between a team, rather than an individual doing their own thing. A team that plays with love is different to a team of individuals. So what if you have a family that's going through a difficulty? What then? And let's say your family's falling apart or has done, or one member of your family has gone a little bit crazy, shall we say, lost the plot, fallen off the wagon, whatever words you want to use. What do you do then? The important thing is the love that was always there. And even if they're not quite doing the right thing or being themselves or acting a little strange or anything else, the important thing is that bond of love that was always there and will be there unless you cover it up. You see, the love's always there, isn't it? It is. And you know it is. In your heart, you know what I'm talking about, even when they're the most obnoxious. You still love them. Perhaps you don't want to, but you do. And you think you're just talking about your family, but what about the stranger? Do you love them as well? Do you? Of course, you're going to probably think, no, I ain't got a reason to love them yet. But that ain't the truth. The truth is, you can look into the eyes of the person serving you or taking your money at a grocery store. You can look into their eyes and you can feel the love between the two of you. Or you can tell her how grumpy she is today and she's not doing a very good job. And that may not be love. You see, you think the love then was never there in the first place, but it always is. It's the love's the bond that don't always connect family. It doesn't just connect family, I mean. It also connects everything else. The human world thinks, well, I've got to find a reason to love them. But the spirit world starts with love and carries on with love. There's no reason. You can't do anything that would stop us loving you. Even that little incident you did that you didn't think you should have done. The time when you said something and you know you were wrong, but you said it anyway. The time you didn't help the person when they asked for it, or there was spite or anger on your tongue. We still love you. See, that's what unconditional love is, isn't it, eh? No conditions, no desire to perform, no expectations, you know. If you've got a cat, you love your cat, and one day it scratches you, you go, I don't love you anymore. Goodbye. You don't, do you? You know, you just think, well, what did I do wrong? Maybe the cat's in a bad mood. You know? And this sounds rather simplistic. And I suppose it is, isn't it? You know, it's a bit of a reminder. It doesn't have to be overly complex at this bit. But when your partner's having a bad day and not being good to you, remember you love them before you respond. When your son and daughter are playing up a bit, remember you love them before you start. And of course, sometimes that still needs a correction, but remember you love them. When your partner goes to works very hard, 12 hours a day, and you don't get enough time together, remember you love them and they love you. And it's that love that's bonding the two of you. Keeps you connected, like. It's the two becomes one at that point, isn't it, eh? You know what I mean? When you can find that two becomes one bit, you can love your music, even if sometimes you're a bit off kilter a little bit, you know what I mean? Or it don't flow as well as it normally does. And if you live this way, if you could truly, you know, not just me being glamorous and all esoteric and things, if you can truly live this way, your life will be full of the beauty of the world. That sounds nice and all, doesn't it? Sounds like a nice way to be. Well, it does to me. Hopefully it does to you. To honour your differences. Know that no matter how problematic it is, there is still love between the two of you. Even if you are going to part company, the love is still there. Know that the difficulties are also an opportunity. Know that the other also loves you. Start with love and add everything else to it. All right, ta-ra. See you later. I've enjoyed my first spell back, I've got to tell you. It's nice being back into it, having a bit of a chat. And anyway, better go. See ya. So the moral today of our conversation is to live today. Not to live from yesterday. To be here and present. And know what you do matters more than what you have. And love is always there between two or more. Until next week. All evil vanishes from the life of those that keep the sun in their heart.